Today I want to talk about the top 5 things that I both love and hate about Dubai, which is my new home now. I want to preface this by saying something very straight and to the point. This video is not made to offend or critique anyone's culture in general. So if you are easily offended by stuff like that, just go ahead and skip the next video because there's no point in even arguing about these things. These things are just my specific likes and tastes and the things that I dislike and distaste. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and kick off with the top 5 things that I dislike about Dubai, UAE. And again, I do not dislike the city, I do not dislike anything about it, but these are things that I dislike in general about this specific location. So number 1, we'll talk about shadows and limited daylight. For one, it's 5:40 p.m. The sun is still up, it's setting right now. This golden hour doesn't really exist because of all of the buildings that are around. If you take a look and see all of the buildings. So what I was saying is they cast huge shadows, which limits your pull time, it limits your golden hour, it limits your availability of getting sunshine if you want to stay outside and catch some rays and get a tan. Really limits all of that. And I think that's probably one thing. I mean, obviously I love and admire all of the buildings in the area. I think the buildings are magnificent. Just about every single one has something unique about it. But with that said, there's also some downsides, and that is that it casts a big shadow and it's hard to get sun. You only got about 3 hours in the pool before the sun is done. And I mean, it's no direct sunlight. It'll still be bright outside, but no sunlight. So number 2 is going to be language barriers. I'm not a big fan of saying things twice or repeating myself. I typically like to say things once, and I even go by a different name just to make it easier so that people don't ask me more questions. But here, because of all the cultural diversity and how many different languages people speak, most being from Asian and the Middle East, you're going to be repeating yourself a lot. And although it seems pretty trivial, whenever you're placing an order for food or doing whatever it is that you need to do, especially if you're looking for something very specific, it's going to be rough because... So again, these are just things that I've noticed about the city. It's really hard to get your point across completely the first time without having to repeat yourself. And because of that, adds more time to getting from point A to point B or point A to Z, whatever it is. Because of that, I am going to have to put it on the list. So number 3 is attention to detail. One thing that I've noticed is that it doesn't matter how expensive the place is or how nice it is. There's always going to be a lack of attention to detail. And I don't care if you're living in a villa or an apartment, but just simple things like... Yeah, not to harp on it too much, but like this is something when you get like a new place, shouldn't really even be a thing. And look at all the shadows outside. I'm gonna break that window. Simple things like electrical outlets falling off the walls or coat hangers falling down. That is a common thing that I've seen in multiple places. Doesn't matter where you're at. Also, like when speaking with concierge or lobbies or what have you, you typically are going to, again, back to the other one, have to repeat yourself and then explain something that's going wrong. And likely they're not going to get it right the first time, or by the time that it goes down 4 different language channels, it's going to get kind of misconstrued and someone's going to show up that doesn't know how to actually fix the problem. It's a pretty big frustrating thing that happens. But so the 4th thing is going to have to be the heat. During the summer, I arrived about a month ago. It was in August, and the temperature was just insanely hot. I can deal with it now. It's not too bad now, but a month ago, you couldn't walk outside for 5 seconds without sweating. And I sweat like whenever I work out and go to, you know, skateboard or surf, whatever it is I'm doing, I sweat a lot. So for me, it's a really uncomfortable situation, but you know, someone would gladly say like, why would you move to Dubai if you're worried about the heat? Well, I'm not worried about the heat, but it is one of those things that takes away from being able to enjoy much of the day because you are spending most of it indoors because you don't want to go outside. But that kind of segues into my last and fifth thing that I dislike the most about the area. Not the area, but just the people whose culture is different. I'm trying to put this lightly, but hygiene is a big thing. I don't know why it's still a problem in today's age, but again, many people coming from very many different backgrounds and have a much different way of life than what I have. So because of that, I'm sure their hygiene standards were much different, or maybe they don't have any at all. And that's totally fine. And if that's your, you know, your culture, I totally respect that 100%. But for me personally, getting into cabs, getting into trains, and almost feeling like I'm gonna vomit because of, you know, the odors that are being emitted, I strongly dislike. And even now, so that I have had nose surgery, it's even more of a big deal because I don't want to be sneezing, or if I throw up, that's going to be a huge deal because throwing up would really, it'd be awful. So now I'm going to move on over to the 5 things that I like about the city. So the next thing I'm going to have to say is probably going to be the fact that most hotels and most accommodations that you stay at in Dubai all have rainfall showers. And although low on the list, I love rainfall showers. This is where I was first introduced to rainfall showers, and they're absolutely amazing. If you've never taken one, you should try it at once. It feels great. It feels natural. It feels amazing. In my house back in the United States, I actually ended up installing a rainfall shower just so I could have that same kind of feeling. And it brings back good vibes. Good vibes. So number 2 on my favorite things that I like about living in Dubai, it's going to be the convenience of having a large city, a big city, a very densely populated area. For one, it's going to mean that a lot of your grocery stores and markets, quote unquote markets, they're within walking distance. I would almost compare this to the New York of the Middle East, which is kind of polar opposites between the fact that you have cold and snow for a large majority of the year, and then you have extreme heat on this side of the planet for a huge majority of the year. So those two, I would say maybe 6 months out of the year it's really cold in New York, and 6 months it's really hot in Dubai. So those things being said, don't drive away the communities. There's still a lot of people there that live there, and again, very big business hubs. So because of that, it makes everything super convenient to get delivered. If you need anything delivered to your room, I mean, obviously in the United States you have the privilege of things like Uber Eats and what have you, but they have Deliveroo and Careem and Uber Eats in Dubai, I believe. Uber Eats, actually, I think it's probably Careem now. I don't know if they bought them out or whatever, but the point is that there's convenient ways of getting food or anything else that you need delivered. And then also you can Uber around. You're not waiting a very long time for a cab, or if you want to take a cab, typically you can hail one within 2 or 3 minutes notice. And one of the things that I also like a lot about this place is the fact that you have gyms and you have fitness centers all right around every corner. I didn't really showcase any of that stuff while I was in Afghanistan, and that's mainly because the people that I was working out with, they can't really be seen on camera for obvious reasons. But I think that I'll probably film a little bit more fitness stuff as I kind of continue throughout this channel's journey, or this channel's journey. That's a good way to put it. And so yeah, you know, it's really convenient, and I like having a high population area, and gives you a lot of interaction, a lot of hustle, a lot of drive going on around you, and it's cool. It's cool to see that. Very, very motivating. So my third thing on the things that I like the most about Dubai is the fact that the gas prices are so low, which means that you can drive a big body V8 or V12 or V10 or whatever vehicle you want, and you're not going to get hammered with gas prices, which is the complete opposite of what it is in the United States. Obviously, in the United States, gas prices, they range from anywhere between high 280s, which I don't know how long it's been since the prices have been that low, but $2.80 all the way up to, you know, I think at one time it was like $5 a gallon. But that stuff adds up. It adds up quick, and you're spending that on a weekly basis. Whereas to here, most of the vehicles you fill up probably less than $30 US. Whereas in the United States, I think like if you had a Range Rover, for example, I think I used to spend like about 60 to 70, all the way up to $80 to fill it up per week. And that money adds up. That's money that takes away from other things that you could be doing, traveling and doing other things that you really enjoy more. So number 4, which kind of piggybacks off of number 2, is the fact that it is so densely populated and you do have so many people around you. There's also great nightlife and typically amazing events that happen throughout the city. I remember I saw Hardwell back in the day for like 25 bucks, brand new on the top like 10 DJ list, and it was really awesome. I saw him at the Atlantis. I think it was Nasimi Beach or something like that. But yeah, it was really cool. I was standing like literally 20 feet away from him, and nobody really cared. It was not a big deal. There's so many events going on. There's always something to catch. And I really hope to see one of these fights in Abu Dhabi because I'm a huge UFC fan. If you haven't seen one of my videos talking about it, I definitely posted one where I met the people that signed this hat. So yeah, I do enjoy UFC. I do like MMA sports in general, and I'm hoping to see the fights in Abu Dhabi soon. So last thing, which has kind of been a pretty sensitive subject this year, but the last thing that I enjoy the most about being in Dubai is the fact that it's centrally located, which means that you can fly to Europe or Asia pretty much within the same amount of time. So if it's 9 hours one way, it'd be 9 hours the other way, and you can get to almost anywhere within 12 to 13 hours, including the United States. The cool thing about that is that it's a huge, major international global airport, Dubai is. So if you want to go to Thailand for a weekend, or you know, Thailand for like a week, that's just to drive to the airport and then, you know, you're there. I mean, and not to mention Emirates Airlines, probably one of the best airlines that I've ever flown with. I've never flown Qatar or Kuwait or any of these other airlines in the area, but I do know that Emirates Airlines, especially their business class, is always nice. They treat you so well. And if you're taking long flights, and I think it's on a 747, 737, I think it's the Airbus 747. I don't know, they have a whole, like a full-on bar there, so you can go there and have some drinks, have some cocktails, and, you know, get some sleep. I have, again, a lot of anxiety whenever I fly, so I like to have a few cocktails before I get on the plane. It makes me relax and feel much better. So I definitely appreciate being in a city that is centrally located and easy to get around, and looking forward to the future travel. Now, I wanted to bring that up because obviously this year it has again been a sensitive subject. A lot of people, including travel vloggers, haven't been able to travel, which I don't know how you maintain a travel vlog whenever you aren't able to travel, but you know, that's why I don't think that this is 100% a travel vlog. I think this is more of a, I'm going to share my life experience with you. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a contractor who worked in Afghanistan. I worked there cumulatively over 4 years, but in this last 3.5 years. And I'm an IT guy. I love gaming. I love technology. But most of all, I love vlogging. I love putting out video and putting out content for people to be able to enjoy and to share my life experiences, because I think it's a lot of fun and I really enjoy being on camera. So anyways, I think that pretty much wraps up all of my little thoughts for the day. And if you have noticed, I haven't changed clothes since yesterday, because today is still yesterday, the day that I was committing to 6 days of vlogging, which means there's another vlog coming tomorrow. So if you want to see that vlog, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and I will see you tomorrow. So as I was editing this video, I realized I left one thing out, and I can't overlook the fact that shawarmas are delicious. So part of my like list has to be the delicious shawarmas here in UAE.